Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Redux podcast. I'm so excited that you're here. Of course, you are here to better your business and to implement strategies that are working right now, which is why we bring on Zachary Foust today. He is the #1 followed agent on TikTok. Today, Zach talks about how he actually built the platform that he's built and created and generated so much business from his social media accounts and how you can do the same. What to post to get more commissions, and how to grab people's attention with your content and turn that into leads. So not only just how to post on social media, but to really actually generate business from it. If you are somebody who thinks that social media doesn't work, or you're not on social media, or what you're currently doing isn't bringing you the results you want, this is a perfect episode to tune into, because he talks about just that, and how to actually make social media work for you and generate actual business from the things that you post and the content that you create. It's an awesome episode. I hope you really enjoy it. Of course, if you want to learn more about social media, we do have an entire social media ebook on how to create a listing strategy through social media. And you can find that at redx.com/social media ebook. We'll also put that link in the description for you so you can easily go there. But in that ebook, it just talks about how, like I said, you can build a listing strategy, how to consistently land listings through social media, how to find the right target audience on social media, because I think the idea of going viral is appealing, but that's not always the right audience that you are looking for. You want to be able to get in front of transaction ready homeowners. And so in that ebook, we also talk about how to do that. So if you're interested in that, be sure to download it. But other than that, I'll stop talking so you can get into the podcast, and I hope you enjoy.
Super stoked today to introduce our guest, Zach Loft, right?
How you
Zach
doing, my friend?
from the Loft team, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Loft Realty.
So Zach is well, Zach, why don't we do this?
What are we doing?
If people haven't heard of you, they're probably not on social media.
No, there's plenty. There's plenty.
or they're not in real estate. So, but why don't I let you do a little introduction, and if you could, Zach's a pretty humble guy, but come to the brag table right now and let us know who you are, what you've accomplished, and kind of introduce yourself to everybody.
Well, Curtis, thanks for having me on. I'd love to just walk through what brought us to where we're at today on this podcast, us meeting out in LA, how we got connected. So I got started in the military. Was dual raised by military parents, went into the military. They didn't force me, but, you are the 5 people you hang around with most, and your mom and dad, and in my life at least, were 2 of those 5. So joined the Army, got deployed, did the overseas deal, and switched to the reserves quickly, realizing, hey, this isn't my love. Got into the Department of Corrections, installed surround sound systems, really did a bunch of stuff that clearly my personality matches. But it was when I was working in the prison system and, driving 12 or doing like 12-hour days between drive time and then getting frozen at work to have to do another 8-hour shift, and dealing with, being surrounded with all these people in a really negative state started to wear on me. And a person in my life had noticed. She's a real estate agent. She's very, very near and dear to me and my life story, because she's the one who said, hey, I think you should be a real estate agent. And I said, no, that's dumb. That's stupid. I want to get paid every 2 weeks. I have insurance. I have benefits. I have a car. Like, I can't do that. And she would ask me 3 more times. I would say no all 3 times, because they say when opportunity knocks, just keep shutting the door, right? And she just went ahead and signed me up for the class. Signed me up, said starts tomorrow. She called me like at 9:30 at night. She knew my schedule. She knew I was about to go into my night shift. And so I showed up, didn't really sleep that day, went right in because I got frozen at work, and then walked right in my uniform. And I found out she didn't pay for it. And that's when I emptied my bank account of $450. And from there began my career. Started a team within 2 years of being involved in real estate, was rookie of the year the first. From there, we ended up going from team to independently owned office after 4.5 years as we entered into 2019, 2020, or actually 3.5 years. And now we sit here 3 years in nearly as a independently owned brokerage, Loft Realty. And we're the #1 Google review team in the entire state. We've accumulated millions of followers now on TikTok at Zachary Loft. We've been able to really honestly have a team of people, and we were talking about this a little before the call, who are so culturally ingrained in content and communication with our clients. It's beautiful to see. We're focused on innovation. We live a lifestyle of balance. It's one of our core values, and one of those things we always balance in is our communication to others, which is why you and I came to be. And I had spoken at an event in LA. You were there, and now we're here.
Now we're here. That's awesome. So #1 followed agent in the world.
Yes, sir. On TikTok.
On sure. TikTok, and quite a following on. You can find Zach everywhere, but TikTok is your jam. Mm-hmm. So I want to talk about that because now that we know your story of getting into real estate, when did social media become a part of the strategy?
Within about 30 days, honest, dude, 30 days, it was what it took for me to look around and realize the information I'm getting from these other agents in this office, God bless them, it just wasn't relevant to what I was trying to do, which was just not die, like make money. Like I just need to find somebody to work with. I've been studying the market while I was in the class. I was at night shifts working in the prison. I was just on Zillow, Redfin, just starting to analyze what's a normal price per square foot in this area. What does an extra bed mean? Like, what does this mean in the description? Like, oh, I like the way they wrote that. Like starting to learn before I could even practice. But once I got in there, I was like, wait, how do I find the people to actually work with? And it was like past clients, referral network, go do this. I'm like, I don't have past clients. My friends don't own homes, nor are they ready to. Like, what do I do? And so I just went on Facebook. I made a post, started making some videos, went live, and it just kind of evolved from there. I jumped into Instagram when no one was really selling homes on Instagram in 2017, 2018, and then jumped on the TikTok in 2019, April of 2019, before most people were from COVID. Got my feet wet there. Got my feet wet right as COVID was happening, end of 2020 with Clubhouse. Met a lot of amazing people there. I'd say, quite honestly, the story of social media has just been, hey, I think that might take off, and jumping on it and giving it the opportunity and providing myself with the tools to connect with people. And when amazing things roll around and you're like, hey, this is the next thing that's going to allow me to connect with more people that are like-minded to who are focusing and at a scale of which I can grow it, shrink it, with ads, boosting. You can all do that via social media. I was like, man, I can make 3 videos from my house. I don't have to go door knock. I still did, and I still do. But ultimately, the social media journey has just been, hey, where's the attention at the lowest cost?
So I love that. And if you're listening, you should write that down. Where's the attention at the lowest cost?
Yeah.
And because we often say attention is the highest form of currency in today's market. I mean, and if you can find that attention at a low cost. The other thing I love what you said is because real estate, if you boil it down to the strategy of getting business, which is something that you were saying, I was doing research, but nobody was talking about, well, how do you actually find the people to do a deal with?
Yeah.
Because I don't make commissions if I don't do a transaction. Yeah. And if I can't find people who want to do a transaction, I'm never going to make money.
Nor do I have the money for a direct mail campaign or newspaper ad or getting that table at that event. I emptied the bank account to get here, y'all.
Well,
which I don't suggest.
Right.
Just, if you're taking any advice from me, don't take that one.
Don't be broke.
Yes.
It's a good saying. Don't be broke. Yes. Yeah. I think if you boil everything down, the strategy of getting listings is about talk to people you don't know so they can get to know you.
Mm-hmm. And talk more to people that already know you.
Right. And what you did is you said, well, I just saw social media as a platform to talk to more people that I don't know so that we could get to know each other.
Yeah.
And that's pretty interesting. Talk to me about TikTok, because I depending on what group you're in, TikTok is still like, oh, TikTok, don't go there. And all the news headlines of continued talk about banning TikTok and all of this stuff. talk to me about TikTok. Why did you jump on board? How did you see the opportunity, or was it by accident?
Oh, it was a friend of mine. His name's Rob Vogel. He actually had asked me to get on closer to, as time goes on, I forget, but it was about 3 to 4 months before I actually got on. I had gotten on because I shot a video for him. He had proposed to his now wife, Renata, still together, still awesome. And he had posted on TikTok now like 30,000 views. And I was like, what? Like, pardon? 30,000 views? Like, Facebook, if I had a 200 view video, I was like, yeah, good work. Like,
right.
And that's the way it was, because all the algorithms were focused on friend groups, and your friends and who you follow were the only content you see in TikTok. And the reason it really drew me in is when I actually figured out and learned, and it's crazy how ignorance can lead us toward not making decisions as quickly as we need to make them, is I learned the algorithm is showing this to people that don't know me and I have never met before, which to this day, some people view as a con. But going back to day trading attention and looking at, what's the value of attention versus how much I'm paying for it, that's a lot of attention. Call it valuable or not, it's free. It's free. And what we've come to know and come to grow on TikTok is we use that test group audience to determine what should get boosted, what should get pushed. If we have a video that does really well on TikTok, it's a good video. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And if it does badly, I have some news for you. And so you have this incredible social group that'll tell you if your ad sucks. And that's all Gary Vee's been doing for years and years and years. It's like, produce a shit ton of organic content and then pick out the 2 or 3 out of 100 that are gems and put money behind them.
Right.
And that's what we're doing with TikTok now. And that's really how it got started. Create as much content as possible, see what works, found the 2 or 3 things that worked, and we're still building on that today.
Okay. So you jump into TikTok. Day trading attention was my favorite line out of that one. I wrote that one down.
I can't steal that one. Yeah.
So, I think you're on TikTok. You're garnering a whole bunch of attention to do that. How does that relate? Because so many people, including a lot of our own marketing, is that most social media is a waste of time for people. Wow. People see it as progress when they're not really making any progress because they don't have a strategy behind what they're doing. So beyond just making a whole bunch of content and trying to see which ones work, talk to us about what agents should be looking at as a strategy.
Sure.
How they should be posting content, should they be posting about, so that they can actually turn it into deals and transactions that pay commissions.
Yeah. Well, I think starting off with what you said, those that view social media and content as either, hey, this is a phase, hey, this is in addition to, or hey, this is optional, are viewing it from a sales perspective. And I completely understand that, because from the very beginning, you get your real estate salesperson license. Like, you're told you're in sales from day one. And I'd argue we're not salesmen. We're not saleswomen. We're not in sales. We're communicators. We're connectors. We're the ones connecting the dots, making the relationships happen. That's actually the definition of a broker. We're bringing together 2 parties. So I don't view us as salesmen at all. And so I never really viewed our content as needing to be salesy. Now, that doesn't mean it doesn't have call to actions or purpose or, like you said, strategy. But it definitely is not aimed at, hey, go to my cart and click on this to buy something, because that's a whole different business. We're in a face-to-face business. And there's pros and cons to that. I'd say one of the biggest pros is that I can look our team in the eye and say, AI isn't going to take you out. Consider yourself lucky. They have to shake the hand. There has to be someone unlocking the door. There has to be a human. Congrats. Now, how can we utilize it? And we've talked 1,000,000% about that. But the... getting back onto the topic, I'm sorry. The
strategy.
Questions.
Strategy of what should they be posting about to turn it into commissions?
The strategy around it, again, needs to go back to marketing. And marketing is a consistent message over a prolonged period of time to the right audience. And strategically speaking, most people don't even mark down who the right audience is. So they don't know who they're trying to talk to. And B, they don't try to construct a message of consistency that they're giving. They're just saying whatever it is that day and thinking that's going to work, when in reality, you've seen Flo from Progressive for 12 years consistently in the same outfit, saying the same quippy things, being a little ditzy for 12 straight years. And that's why she sticks in your head. It has to be a consistent message. Yes, you can grow. Yes, you can evolve. And yes, we're doing that exact thing. But with TikTok, our strategy is niching down on, and we say we want to serve our clients. And it stands for, are we strategically aligned? Are we actually making sure what we're creating aligns with the audience's interest and what they're actually going for when they're on that platform? A, or B, is it sorry, I said B. E, because it spells serve, geez, is edited to the platform. Every platform has its niches and its different intricacies. It's a caption written properly for this YouTube short, as opposed to the 280 characters you get on TikTok or the 120 you get on Twitter, things like that. Is it relevant? Is this culturally relevant? And is this on the timeline relevant? Is it old, outdated information? Is this right for the picking? Which one is it? It needs to be relevant. And also for V, it needs to be valuable. It can be relevant. All it needs to be is just like a clickbaity post if it's relevant but not valuable, right? You can make a headline that says, hey, this thing that happened yesterday, but then if there's no valuable content behind it, it's just clickbait. And then lastly, is it emotionally going to connect with them? Is it going to bring entertainment? Is it going to bring education? Is it going to make them feel something? It doesn't have to make them cry, but like, is it going to invoke or intrigue some type of emotion? And so if our content serves, then we know it's going to go out. And that's what we're trying to scale. And that's where TikTok and other platforms alike that are copying TikTok with their algorithm of showing it to an unlimited amount of people. To me, and you can view, and you can say, hey, all these people for decades and decades and years that have been using focus groups and social groups to deem whether or not something's good or not, because people still do this to this day. You now have 150 million user test group that's free to utilize. It'll tell you if your content sucks or not. And if you're not utilizing that, I don't know why. I don't know an argument as to why you wouldn't. And to answer the last question you said, and I know it's the one you want me to answer the most, how can you get deals? How can you get clients? View TikTok as an SEO engine for your high quality content, not a spam engine for hoping I go viral once. The content that goes on TikTok is usually so shitty. I'm sorry, I don't know if I'm allowed to curse, but so bad that it's not going to have any push because it's just bad. Now, if you're not very good at content, but you're SEO focused, at the very least, you're going to be writing a niche bit of information to the niche audience that's looking for it. And if you're one of the only few that exist in that category, guess what? You're one of the best, if that makes sense. You're not competing with everybody else. So with TikTok, you have to imagine you're sandwiched between two viral posts, two posts that have already been qualified by the algorithm and the people that watch it. We love these. You're in the middle. You are going to lose like 999 times out of 1,000. You just have to understand that. But if you have SEO focused content that's niche down, and I'm not saying here's how to avoid paying more taxes. I mean, so I had this client that actually saved 20 grand, but they did it by stealing. And I want to tell you how. And then that leads into how they got $20,000 in seller's assistance that ended up saving them. Like, you still have to hook it in a way that you can bring that relevant information in. But the beauty of TikTok and all these algorithms on social media today is we know what's going to work and what won't. And that's like the basis of our whole marketing strategy. So
yeah, love it. Maybe we just end it right there.
Yeah, right there. That's fine. But no, and I'm sorry to drag on, but I want to give as much information as possible because it really is tough, dude. It's tough to look at your P&L and see 3,000 in social media spend, and you can't tie it right to a person. You can't tie it right to a thing. You have to view it like a chief editor instead of a chief salesperson. Like, are you the person making sure and monitoring your content goes out, pushes the right message, and is growing the right persona and brand? Or are you just trying to push out content to get a sale? Because if you're just trying to get a sale, you're only depreciating your brand. You have to have the confidence and the timeline to say, look, I'm going to put 2 years into not worrying about getting a return. I just want to give as much value via content within my niche as possible. I'm going to see what happens. And I promise it's going to work.
Today's podcast is brought to you by Brand Builder. In the competitive and fast-paced world of real estate, your online presence is your most powerful tool. And as a busy real estate agent, you probably know you need to spend more time growing your business on social media. But if you're like most people, you don't have the time or know-how to become a social media expert. With 68% of sellers choosing their real estate agent based on reputation alone, you can't afford to not post engaging videos on a regular basis. which is why I want to tell you about Brand Builder from RedX. Brand Builder is a tool that provides custom social media video editing and management for real estate agents and teams looking to grow their online presence. On Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, and TikTok, you can capture your audience where they're already paying attention. With AI-generated scripts, teleprompter support, and quick turnaround times, it's never been easier to start attracting business from social media. You can choose from our flexible packages, including social video edits, starting at $267 per month, or go unlimited for your comprehensive content needs. And with our social media management add-on, your online engagement will skyrocket, leaving you to do what you do best, closing deals. Don't let social media be an afterthought. Schedule your free demo at redx.com/brandbuilder and start building a brand that attracts transaction-ready homeowners today.
Well, and what you're saying is, there's still people that are scratching their heads going, why is RedX talking about this? So if anybody's wondering that, let me just bring it home, is everything that we talked about, we provide you the niche. Mm-hmm. We provide you the people who are really close to a transaction, the expireds and the FSBOs, or maybe pre-foreclosures, or a neighborhood that you're trying to target. But you can niche your content down because we provide you that audience to help you get in front of. Mm-hmm. And so when you're making a video and you're targeting a specific audience in your serve model, we love that. If you're aligned with your audience and the message, then it's not about likes and follows at large. It's about attention from the niche.
Absolutely.
And that is what we've seen for years, and transitioning. We still have 20,000 people that do a lot of phone prospecting, which is still very effective. You still do door knocking because it's a face-to-face business. We have to have human connections.
Absolutely.
And yet, I'll bet when you're knocking on those doors, how many times do they go, "Oh, I've seen your videos"?
Oh, we've had it happen several times, and it's not a hidden science. If I plan on, and this may or may not already be happening, if we have a plan on 5 different neighborhoods that we're going to target, we may go ahead and a quarter earlier go ahead and geofence those areas on Google and launch YouTube ads within those mile radiuses so they know we're coming. And when we do knock on the door, you're right, they see the logo, or they'll see my face or someone else, and we will get that interaction. And it's not tough to scientifically create, because you do not have to try to be everywhere for everyone. You have to be omnipresent for the right people. And that's where data comes in huge. And RedX has helped us a ton, is the data that gets provided, so that when we're making this content, like for example, we make a great video that revolves around selling a home. You may be like, well, Zach, that's not going to do super well on TikTok. Well, I'd argue if you posted on TikTok and then promoted it via TikTok and ran it against the proper data set of people that are actually looking to maybe potentially make that move because they're showing different triggers or behavioral tendencies, such as their home just expired off the MLS.
Right.
That's a pretty big one. Or listed as a FSBO on Zillow, or there's a bunch of different metrics. We have a remind list of people that are 55 or older in 2-story homes with 50% plus equity, and so on and so forth. If you're not doing that, you are kind of just throwing spaghetti against a very, very large wall. And yeah, you could work out to have 1 million plus followers or do any of that, but TikTok's changed a bit, guys. It's changed a lot. It's not a gain a bunch of followers real quick engine. It really needs to be looked at as an SEO tool that can also double as just an analyzer of your content. Is it good? Is it not? And then you're able to triple down by promoting it against audiences that you're deeming as, hey, and you can do that on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, the whole nine, of, hey, we think you're going to move quick. We'd like to be in front of it.
Right. Well, and the simplest way we describe it to people is if you could put a billboard up and only pay for the exact customer you wanted to see that billboard, that would be good advertising.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So that's a great way of putting it. Someone said, what's the difference between top of funnel and bottom of funnel? Top of funnel is a billboard, bottom of funnel is a storefront. So we're creating a storefront with data, because the people who see the billboard, they're like, oh, the billboard. But if they see the storefront and then walk into the storefront, you now have the first step. You are now allowed to walk up to them and say, how may I help you? Because you've walked into my store.
Right.
But if you just see my billboard and I'm on the side of the road saying, how can I help you? You're going to be like, look at that weirdo.
I think people underestimate the the power of the algorithms on these platforms too, to be able to do that. I mean, it's like you're saying, and I just want to make sure that the point is driven home, is we're talking about niche, and we're talking about specific target audiences, and you can help the algorithm by taking data and saying, here's the customers I want to target.
Yeah.
But even within that group, they're looking at the length of time you pause, microseconds of pause during your scrolling to go, this is more interesting to these people than others. Like, it's going to find your right customer. So it will happen over time. If you just started marketing to the world over time, and it would take a really long time, it would niche down to your niche, but you can expedite that process by giving it data and then having the algorithms find the specific people that are ready right now.
And I know we talked about, and we're going to do it, and I don't want to pre-plug it because we don't have it on the schedule yet, but I know we're going to do a boot camp, and I'd really love a whole hour and a half focus in on, hey, this is the algorithm for each platform. Here's what it does. Here's why it's good. Here's where it can suck. Here's how to use it. Here's how not to use it.
Right.
For example, LinkedIn utilizes its own keyword searches to push specific adjectives. The YouTube SEO search function. I mean, you can plug in up to like 10,000 characters on your description, but if you just post this bullet point like this, it's going to read it better. Like, there's so many different little intricacies that can give you that edge. And if you're in a niche world, like I'll use YouTube as an example, I could get 84 views on a video. But if it's, here's the experience of selling with myself here at Loft Realty, and it's only sent to people who set listing appointments, and it's a trigger that happens once it gets listed into our CRM, and then it gets sent to them. And those 84 views, I'll take those over that 8.4 million view video, like day and night.
Right. Well, and I love the SEO concept because we really did well in SEO, right? In early days through the recession, right? Early 2000s into like 2010, we crushed SEO. In fact, we were the number one on real estate leads, real estate solutions, real estate platforms. I mean, we owned tons of vanity terms, and it produced garbage leads because people weren't looking for phone numbers on foreclosures when they looked up real estate solutions. And so when we got really smart about even SEO, we said, we'd rather have 100 people looking up, how do I talk to a pre-foreclosure, right? That longer tail type SEO. And then all of a sudden our leads became better. Our conversion became better from the sales team. And if you look at social media the same way, just like Zach is saying, then your conversion is going to be better. 84 views of people who are trying to sell their home in the next 30 days, which is expired listings. And that's going up. But the average expired lists within 35 days, 50% with the new agent. And if all of your content is targeting those people, 84 views of people that are going to list in the next 35 days versus 8.4 million people that aren't going to relist at all is drastically different. And I think that people need to get away from likes and views as their success metric.
There's vanity terms and there's equity terms. Views, likes, follows. It's vanity. It's why you don't hear me talking about it much, and you got to force it out of me, because it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. There are several creators. I'll name Glenda Baker's one, who's more well known than me, or more well known than I am. I look up to her at such a high level, and guess what? I have double the following than she does. And she has such a stronger community because she focuses. I'm focused Delaware. She's national, baby. She's going for it. And that's her push, not mine. So she has a bigger national push, but has half the following because that's her focus. And she has her niche, and she does that. I do Delaware. So you have to have your niche, and you can grow a following under that niche. You just want to make sure that you're doing it with the right tools.
Right.
And like we said beforehand, our position is going to be different than someone else's position. We're a team lead. We have 16 members, and we format our system for video and how we distribute and create much differently from an individual agent. But that's why I love about RedX, because you guys have platforms for each, but we don't got to dive into them. But
well, it's a good segue to even just wrap up the call here. and there are questions around this, so I'll just try to group everybody's questions into a couple here.
Perfect.
What is your production team? What did your production team look like when you were 30 days in and broke and started on social media versus today? Because I think people look at what you're doing, they look at the amount of content you're doing, and it feels so overwhelming to most people. They go, well, do I want to talk to people or do I want to be a digital marketer? Right. And there's this conflict with a lot of agents out there of what to do and where to get started. And it's harder to duplicate what you're doing now than to start where you started to get to where you are now.
Yeah.
So where did you start and what does it look like now?
Started by just making statuses and posting videos. But I mean, the world we're in now, I actually got this question in Long Island, said, hey, if it was day 0, but it's 2023, what would you do? Because I've always given the answer, if it was day 0, what would I do? And I have good answers for that, but they're like, hey, but if it's today, what would you do?
Right.
I would be leveraging AI so heavily for scripts, descriptions, captions, all the minutia, my email action plans, my text templates, everything I would be utilizing AI for, because the biggest reason for not making content is I don't have time. So use time-saving products to build that time. And to, honestly, if you're just getting started, you're going to suck. So any prompts are going to help and get your brain going and utilize. I know RedX has AI features too that can just help, push your thought process along in the video creation. And really, it was me on Facebook, on Instagram. And then when it got into the TikTok world, the first big content hire we made was a videographer, Sean. He's with us today. He's sitting right above me on the second floor, editing away. We just shot content this morning. He was one of our biggest hires, intern we took right from high school, summer program. Then he had a whole year in senior year, and then we hired him full-time the next summer. That was our strategy. I've given that strategy to 1 billion different people. Go after your high schools, the vocational ones, go after colleges, get the interns, get experience. Today we have 2 video editors, Sean as our lead video content creator, and 2 other admins that are facilitating the distribution. And we're in a 5-stage process, which I'd happily share those phases. A is phase 1's content creation. And actually, let me pull up my SOP so I can just rewrite off it. Yeah, let me pull this up. I just had it. Boom. Serve. We have the top of every single SOP, strategically aligned, edited to the platform, relevant to the consumer, valuable to the consumer, emotionally impactful. Phase 1, content creation, just annotates in this SOP when we are going to shoot. I think that's really important. When are you going to shoot? Not just, I'm going to shoot some content this week. No, Tuesday at 9 a.m., we're shooting content. And then it's a level deeper from that, because I used to do that. I'm like, 9 a.m. Tuesday, shoot content. And then sit down at 8:55, and I'm like, what am I going to shoot? And then it's like, okay, I'm not going to do it. Now I got a plan. And then I don't end up shooting content. And so we have it planned out. Then we have it set for, okay, Tuesday we do this, Wednesday we do that, Friday we do that. Mixture of live, short form, and long form. And then we have phase 2, pre-editing, where Sean will review everything and he takes notes while he's going through with different timestamps and things like that. He'll clip out garbage and long periods of time that are just useless raw footage, and then send it over to our content editing team, VAs. And then they get into the strategy. We have a whole SOP for, hey, it's like 8 pages of here are all the things you can and cannot do in editing that we've built over years of putting out content we didn't like and just growing on it. Different algorithm things. I'd gladly share this document with you too. And then phase 4, after it's edited, we have a content review phase / revision phase where it's going through the same exact monikers. So, for example, ensure it aligns with our company's values, to follow the checklist for revisions. If a revision is needed, sent back to the content creator. Let me go back into this. Long form has to be an in-depth exploration of a single content. I don't know how to talk today, dude. Long form is an in-depth exploration of a single topic. It's less frequent cuts and transitions. Meanwhile, short form would be more hyper transitions, lots more cuts, lots more text. So this document just kind of just lays out the differences. I think that's important.
Yeah.
I think it's really important to, first step of taking your content to the next level, write out what your expectations for yourself are.
Right. Why don't we have everybody, since you offered, and I'm going to jump on that. Anybody who's interested, that just comment that you want the document. It's the video SOP,
Yep.
And just mention that in the chat, and we'll get that to you. Put your email or we'll DM you, and we'll figure out how to get it to you.
Yeah, it's all 5 phases, and then after the revision phase, just the distribution phase. So, and that can be used all 5 phases, whether it's just you or you got a whole team of people. If you don't strategically align with yourself, right, and serve, it's strategic alignment with our consumer. But if you're not strategically aligned with yourself, as Jocko Willink says, define a win as the leader in your life. What's a win in content? Do you just want to shoot a video a week? You want to go live? You want to make a couple stories? Or do you have an aligned goal that you want to attack? And if you do, you got to put it on paper. You got to make it specific. What videos? Where? What's going to be the description? What's going to be the topic? How are you going to get your script? Are you just going to use bullet points? Do you have a videographer? Do you not like getting those things down, writing out that quota, and then just hitting it? And then doing it again and improving it. And then doing it again and improving it, just little by little. And that's how brick walls get made, like the one behind you, one perfectly laid brick at a time.
That's right. And it's real. It's not a backdrop for Zoom. Just so people know.
Pick the wrong real backdrop because everyone's going to think it's fake.
It looks pretty good.
It does look great.
All right. Well, man, Zach, we really appreciate it. I have one more just kind of shameless question here.
Sure.
Is you have all of those video editing tools, and yet you're still utilizing stuff from RedX.
Absolutely.
So, why is that, and how can that help people with where they're at?
I mean, the first thing is we've already created the process to make the connection, right? We make connections with our people via our hooks, via our strategy for connecting emotionally and serving through our content. What we needed more so were the tools to get in front of more of the right people systematically. So data was the first thing that we connected on, which is, hey, I want to stop hunting for our own data. Let's get all the perfect people for that bottom of funnel, spend a quick $1,000 on just blanketing them with content all the time. And then it morphed into the newest product you guys have, which is basically an extension of what we've already built, which is a marketing machine. So we're utilizing it because honestly, it's going to slowly start improving our own systems and implementing into what we're already doing. We're already talking about how we want to expand it already because we have a team of content creators who are avidly, passionate about creating content that communicates with their clientele and audience. So RedX offers the opportunity to do it efficiently and do it within the right guidelines of getting it out to the right people, which is super, super important.
Yeah.
So yeah, and you guys align with us. We have similar cultures.
Yep, similar cultures. So yeah, I mean, I only have an Instagram account because Zach asked how he could follow me after I spoke at SocialCon, and
yep.
the irony was that I was telling people what to do and not doing it for me personally, but only for the company. And so look, Zach, thank you so much. If people have questions about what RedX can do and how we can help you, make sure to reach out to us. We won't get into it here because I just want to say thank you. Remind everybody that we go live every Thursday on any platform that you listen to your podcast. You can download and get access to this. And remember, if you want the document, that's the best giveaway I've seen on a podcast in a very long time. So make sure to comment and reach out for that. Otherwise, Zach, thank you so much. You're going to see a lot more of Zach. We have plans to do a lot more together between our companies and what we're doing, and happy to be aligned with Zach. Any last final advice for anybody?
Just hold yourself accountable to what you're looking to achieve. If you want to make more content, how much more? You want to make more sales, how many more? And then just put down the plan to go do it. Few people actually take time to annotate what they're going to do in their action. They're just going to say, oh, I'm going to go do it. What I love about RedX is they have a plan. They're moving forward on it. And that's why we're moving forward with you guys, because we align with that plan. So align with yourself. There's a lot of crazy chaos, especially in the real estate industry right now in the news. Align.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Zach. We'll see you next time.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.